My recent video has been getting a lot of attention because there are a fair amount of people on both sides of the fence. Some defending the fact that me and Chanamak can film. It's during the daytime and it's in a touristic place. And plus, she wasn't the main character of the video. We were just passing by. Another group is saying that we shouldn't be filming her at all, even though she's in the background. We should try to avoid her, and going back and ask her about the filming situation was a bit much because we know well that she's there to work and perhaps she's doing something shady that she doesn't want her relatives and friends to know about. But you guys have to remember, right before the clip started where she was yelling at us, Chanamak was saying he didn't know the difference between the main street and the alley. How come you can film on the main street but not inside the alley? So to our surprise, we got yelled at because we were walking in the middle of the day on a main street. There's a lot of people out and about, eating, driving around and getting a massage. And this could be like, viewed as very normal, right? This lady here is sitting on the street, and when I asked her about it, she said that I should be the one avoiding her on the camera. But it's very weird that she was yelling at us, clearly that we are foreigners, even though I speak some Vietnamese, but it's a little bit broken. She can kind of tell by the way I speak, the way I look and dress, that I'm not actually from Vietnam. And Chanamak clearly was speaking English, and she yelled at him too. So the ironic part here is she makes money out of tourists. That's why she's in Japantown. Local people working here making $10, $20 a day, they're not gonna splurge $20, $30 on a 1-hour massage. So most of the time, these women here are trying to attract tourists, and mostly men as well. So we are in fact in her demographic for target audience, the type of client that she's looking for. Yet she is yelling at us, being rude, yelling threats. This is so uncalled for. And remember, she never even stated anything about not wanting to be in a video or the fact that I should, ask her for permission at the beginning. She just started off yelling a threat, and when I came back, she did not want to have any conversation. I was asking her, but she didn't want to let me finish a sentence. All she wants to do is prove her point, and she wants to be right. She wants to be heard, and she doesn't want to have any debate whether or not who's right or wrong or the rules here. So am I blind to the fact that people are here trying to make a living? I know there's certain type of people doing extra service for money. However, it's divided into different groups. Usually it's reserved in a shady neighborhood, during like very late into the night. But here we are around 9, 10 a.m. We're walking around right on the big street, and she's yelling at us like that. It's uncalled for. One thing I want you guys to understand as well is if she is doing something illegal or she's not proud of and she don't want to be in camera, she shouldn't be yelling at the top of her lungs. The way that she was talking to me is like she wanted the whole neighborhood to hear. In fact, I think she was trying to embarrass me and Chanamak for filming her, but as a result, she is embarrassing herself because now all the attention is on her. I was talking to her politely in a normal voice, and she was yelling, and probably people 20, 30 meters down the street could hear us. Now, if she have just mentioned the fact that she doesn't want to be in camera, of course we can take her off. We don't care about a little clip on our video. If she respectfully says something, we would have taken her off. But in this circumstance, she was not polite at all. So speaking about, paying respect, you have to pay respect first. You have to treat others well if you want to be treated well. And this lady didn't want to have a nice, gentle word with us. She just wanted to scream at the two of us. And when you're talking about, Chanamak coming here with the American attitude and entitlement, well, this lady is actually the one that's entitled. She thinks that she can yell at, a couple of tourists just walking by doing a video in the middle of the day. That is called entitlement because she thinks or she knows that me and Chanamak would not do anything to her. But think about it. What kind of Vietnamese girl would go yelling at the top of her lungs and putting down 2 tourists just filming on the street? This makes everybody look bad. A lot of you guys say, you know what, leave her alone. Don't film her, don't come back, or don't even talk to her. But do you want me to be a coward and walk away and not highlight this issue? As a Vietnamese person, I want you guys to understand that Vietnamese women, the epiphany of Vietnamese women is very gentle, in a nice traditional dress, and they're usually very polite, and the way they talk is very nice and soft. But this woman here is destroying the entire image of a Vietnamese woman and what they're all about. She's sitting in traditional dress, but it is very thin. You can almost see through into her underwear. She's sitting with one leg up eating lunch, and she's yelling at the top of her lungs, and a lot of insults going our way. and it's not very woman-like or Vietnamese-like at all. So for me to highlight this is for you guys to understand that there are people in Vietnam that act out of pocket like this, not very gentle, not very polite or professional. But this is a small part of Vietnam. They don't represent Vietnamese people, because a lot of people say, I don't want to visit Vietnam anymore. These women are too rude. But you have to know that this is not the image that a Vietnamese woman should be. So, come here, give Vietnam a chance. Everybody's very nice, polite, sweet, and kind. And I want to clarify with this woman so that she knows, that tourists and foreigners walking around filming, they should not be yelled at like that. I was trying to have a sensible conversation, but that was to no avail. I completely failed because she did not want to hear what I want to say. I can't even finish one sentence. She just wanted to have her thoughts heard. She wants me to know that I'm wrong and that she's right. So there's no point of talking to this kind of people. But at the end of the day, I still want to highlight it. I came back to have a conversation to let you guys know that that is how they're acting. And if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, they should be very quiet and polite about it. And maybe request us to take them off the video. Not be yelling for the whole world to hear, potentially go online with the audio or the video. So you guys are saying, me and China Mac are foreigners. We come here with an entitlement, with a tourist mindset. But at the end of the day, guys, we're just being fair about the whole situation. We're two guys having a conversation, creating content, walking on a big street, where everyone is just hanging out. And I don't want other tourists, young or old, men or women, to walk down the street getting yelled like this. That is not how people should be treating tourists. And China Mac says a very interesting thing in our conversation, which is one, these people, they need tourists. This country actually needs tourists. We depend on tourist money to survive, not to survive, but to thrive, Tourist money brings in a lot of revenue for this country. So at the end of the day, you have to treat them with some kind of respect. You can't be yelling at them, putting them down like the way that she did. And the second thing is, you guys are like, oh, China Mac, should be afraid, there's people watching him. But guess what? China Mac is not afraid because he has courage. He's willing to speak his mind. Are people looking at us? Are people targeting us after this? Maybe yes, maybe no. But do you guys want us to be quiet, shut up, and walk away and let the situation be? And the situation could worsen over time. Or do you want us to bring truth, bring light to the situation? So yes, we know that there are some people that might be, overlooking these women, that we might be in trouble to some extent. But I just want us to know that everybody needs to go out there and pay respect to people and be professional to each other. You don't have to love one another, smile and say hi to the camera, but at the end of the day, just give the minimal respect to each other and represent the Vietnamese culture well. The Vietnamese traditional dress that teachers and students used to go to school with. You can't be flaunting it like that, using it to attract customers like foreign men and then going yelling at them. It makes no sense. And just because there is some sense or some chance of China Mac or myself being threatened in the future, it's not because of that we're going to shut up and not highlight this issue. Because I think it's very important that people don't get bullied. People without a platform come into Vietnam and then get shouted at and get scolded, and then they leave a bad mark, a bad taste on Vietnam, and go tell everybody how this is how Vietnamese people are. Because truly, deep down, I do feel that Vietnamese people are amazing, sweet, and honest. Especially Vietnamese women, they're very loyal, they're very caring toward their husband, their family, and even to strangers, they are very polite, demure, and speak in a very nice, polite tone, a quiet tone. This woman does not represent any Vietnamese woman at all. You guys have to understand that. And if she's jaded by her job or whatever, is it our problem? Do we know? We're just walking by, man. Perhaps if she's nice to us, we would even walk into the shop, get some service, and we think that she's cool, drop her a tip, and even advertise her brand to our YouTube channel, so more people can come and support her. We have nothing to lose by doing that. Like Tina and Sky from Murai, they were very polite to us, and we put them in camera, and we highly recommend people to go to their shop. It's a win-win situation. So again, tourists, they come here to have fun, they have a camera, they want to take pictures and videos. So at the end of the day, tourists go hand in hand with camera and taking picture. And these people, they want tourists to use their service. They're in the service business, they want some tip, at least they want some money from it. And even the country itself, is promoting more tourism. The country wants to ramp up tourism for the next 5-6 years to get more revenue from it. It's all over the news. So we have to do something to make tourists comfortable, to have them have a good experience and speak well of the country to the rest of the world, which is very deserving. Vietnam deserves praise and good words, and don't let these few bad apples spoil the entire pot. So what do you guys think? If you're walking around and somebody yell at you like that, you didn't know that you're not supposed to film, how would you react? And if you guys are a local watching this, if someone captured you in camera in the background like this, would you yell at them? How would you feel? Would you hide your face or just be quiet and let it go? Would you request them politely to not put you on any social media or on YouTube? What would you do? You know, I know some of you guys condemn me and China Mac for doing that video, and some of you think that we are entitled, but in fact, in my opinion, I think she's entitled, yelling at two men tourists who are walking around filming. So until next video, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully we would go back to having some good vibes on this channel and everyone loving Vietnam and visiting Vietnam once again. Thank you, and see you guys on the next video from Saigon.